Hello, welcome back in now to Lowcountry Money Talk. I'm Jessa Jeremiah, and we are joined by Phil Bloyd, who's our friend and expert with Revolutionary Financial Group, covering some current events and, boy, a lot of changes too. Thanks for joining us.
Good to be here.
So we covered some of the current events, which of course we're battling inflation and rising costs really across the board, and really sharing with our viewers, especially those who are in retirement, how to handle that, where to get the extra money from. To really continue to educate our viewers, we're going to be really unpacking the Secure Act and some of these changes. I would love for you to really boil this down for us.
Okay. Hey, got to keep changing things, right? So
yes.
Recently we had spoken about how the Secure Act, took action. Let's see, I think it was 2019 when it came about. It changed the required minimum distribution age to 72. Also made some changes for beneficiaries on IRAs and qualified plans. They've been tossing around even more changes for the beneficiaries, so we spoke about that a bit a while back. Now, not that that's enough, they're looking at a total 2.0 plan, and it looks like it's got some pretty good bipartisan support, so it may be getting through. But this is some major changes, and it can confuse some of our retirees. So.
Well, you know what? Anytime there's changes, I think taking a minute to really sort of dial it down for us is helpful.
Sure.
So, what are we really talking about here?
Okay, so the first thing we'll say, Jessa, is it hasn't passed yet.
Okay.
So this is preliminary. So when it does pass, we'll have that on the show and we'll go exactly.
Okay.
But just so people, I'm already getting calls about this,
right.
believe it or not.
Even as a potential for
right.
change, yes.
Yeah, I've had people say, well, see, I don't have to take a distribution then until I'm 75 now. Well, the 75, I think, they're etching it up a bit, so that's not till 2032.
So this is a tiered plan,
right.
essentially.
So basically, here's some of the main things. There's some, if you're still working and you work for a company that has over 11 employees, there's some issues with some 401k mandates and making the employer provide that for employees. Most of our viewers are probably retired. The catch-up of provisions. So if I'm over 50, there's catch-up provisions. Well, they're going to extend those. So if I'm 62 to 64 and still working, they're going to move that up quite a bit from $6,500 maybe to $10,000 a year, where I can contribute more into these plans.
Okay.
So that's probably a good thing there. When we look at the required minimum distribution, that's where most of our viewers, they're interested in that because.
Yes, well, because there's some potential downside, it sounds like. So let's maybe walk us through that.
So the first thing with the changes is they're looking to get from 72, starting your mandatory distributions, moving that age up to 75 over time. And they're looking at 73 as of this year. So
really?
Some people, 72, have probably already taken their distribution and maybe they wouldn't have had to.
It's interesting that they can make that change in a current
right.
year.
I would have thought they would have done it the next year.
Right, me as
but
well.
Nothing in Washington makes much sense these days.
Yeah,
they didn't ask me.
They didn't ask
and they didn't ask you.
Going forward, we would like it
Please
to be
give
discussed.
us a call on this, right? So 73 potentially for 2022, 74 2029, and 75 in 2032. Okay. So it really will be important that you keep in touch with your custodians, your advisors, because when this goes through, a lot of people are going to say, well, I don't have to take it till 75, and then they're going to get hit with that penalty. And we'll talk about the downsides. We might go into even the next segment, but let's talk about the penalty real quick first.
Right.
So currently, if I miss a required minimum distribution, the penalty is one of the harshest in the tax code, 50%.
That is, ouch.
So if I was supposed to take 10,000, they're going to hit me with a $5,000 penalty.
Wow.
And guess what? They're going to make me take the 10 anyway,
You're going to take it anyway and get penalized.
Well,
okay.
the good part of this is they're looking to pull back on that to maybe as low as 10% on that penalty.
Wow, that's a big change.
If you catch it on your own, or maybe 25% if you don't catch it at all, but if you catch it and say, oh, whoops, I forgot 10. So that would be a pretty good change.
That'd be a great change.
Yeah, we'll talk about the downside a little bit more.
Okay, so you have downside to look forward to, but at least
Please
we'll
tune
educate
in
you.
for the downside, right?
That'll be next, so we hope you stick with us here on Lowcountry Money Talk.